Get full episodes of The Damage Report as a podcast on iTunes and Android, and you can watch the live show every weekday on YouTube TV.
This is now the time for Trump to say enough already.
Do you want to see what Trump actually said?
I would love to see what Trump.
So Trump
But before
spoke,
you do, really quick, at this thing where Trump spoke, there were chants of CNN sucks. One of the stickers on the van literally says CNN sucks.
Yes.
It's a little detail to throw in.
That is an amazing detail. So Trump said, among other things, we must never allow political violence to take root in America, cannot let it happen, and I'm committed to doing everything in my power as president to stop it, and to stop it now. That is not a true statement. He is not willing, not just in his power to do everything to stop it, he's not willing to not even just moderate his rhetoric. He's not willing to not advance crazy conspiracy theories, which we're gonna turn to in just a second. So let's take note, in the same way that at his rallies after the first sets of bombs came through, after we have now caught the person, we see that he on his van has targets on the politicians that he hates, pictures of them. Donald Trump in that address did not name any of those who were targeted. He said high profile politicians and a media outlet. So he refused to even identify CNN. So often we have to get people to actually say her name when it comes to sexual harassment. How about say CNN, hashtag, actually acknowledge that that is the company that was targeted with multiple bombs. And right before you said that, as you pointed out, your crazed fans there in the White House were also chanting CNN sucks. And I want to turn now to, so this is what he's saying after we know who the person apparently is. Earlier today, he decided, I'm not waiting any longer. My supporters, right-wing media are all saying this is fake, this is a hoax. I got to get me some of that. So he tweeted, Republicans are doing so well in early voting and at the polls, and now this quote bomb stuff happens and the momentum greatly slows. News not talking politics. Very unfortunate what is going on. Republicans go out and vote. So in a tweet where he says, very unfortunate what is going on, the subject of that statement is not the string of attempted assassinations, it's the fact that this might hurt Republican turnout in the midterms. That's not Lou Dobbs, that's not Sean Hannity. That's not a random crazy Trump supporter on Twitter. That is the President of the United States saying that it is a shame that people are focusing on the victims of attempted acts of terrorism rather than on the Republicans who might unfortunately be heard a little bit about the fact that one of his supporters apparently tried to assassinate people.
He says he's gonna do everything in his power. So let's just come up with a list of things he can do that are in his power to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen.
Okay.
Don't go after the press.
Okay, that would be great.
Because his response is actually, he's angry at the press for going after and reporting fake news. No, just let the press report on what actually is happening. And you can rebut that, you can say things back to it, but you can't vilify the media the way you've been vilifying the media. In the past, he said, knock the hell out of people at my at my rally that are, voicing their opinions and disturbing the whatever you would equate with peace at a Trump rally. He says, knock the hell out of them. Yeah. He's incited violence in people. The rhetoric continues. Even after the Christine Blasey Ford stuff, he says, for a second, let's all come together. He used to at least kind of say, okay, for the next 3 days, I'm going to just not say anything that's remotely rhetorically charged. That isn't even happening anymore. Yeah. That isn't even happening anymore. And that's what's terrifying to me and frustrating is the change over time, the lack of even an instinct to present decency for 28 hours. That's gone.
The unwillingness, or not even unwillingness to do it, but I think recognition that his fans don't want it, that they have moved on. We in the media and reasonable people around the country are still coming to grips with the fact that 1 out of 3 people in America, at least those who answer polls, are crazy people when it comes to these things, and they live in an alternate reality where terrorism doesn't matter because it targets Democrats.
I would say it's less than 1 out of 3 people, just for this reason.
That's why I said in the polls.
In the polls, they're not. I don't think the poll is full of crazy people. I think it's folks who've said, listen, these are not my priorities. The thing I make my decision over is not whether Trump says crazy crap, because Trump is going to say crazy crap. I know that about him. I have deprioritized the craziness of his message in my poll responses.
That is true.
But I think there are far too many people who honestly believe that this might be a false flag operation, and that's the crazies.
It spread very fast. And yes, Donald Trump says a lot of crazy crap, and we should not overly focus on his tweets in some areas. But we also need to be able to differentiate between, I don't know, look, I honestly don't think that calling one of his former mistresses horseface is not important at all. But when he is spreading conspiracy theories about terror attacks that are still happening, like that tweet I sent to you, that was before we caught the guy. So it was still possible that more bombs will come out. It is still possible that more bombs will come out. I wanna read one more for you. So he said this, I believe this one was at 3 a.m. local time, he woke up to tweet this. Funny how lowly rated CNN and others can criticize me at will, even blaming me for the current spate of bombs and ridiculously comparing this to September 11th and the Oklahoma City bombing. Yet when I criticize them, they go wild and scream, it's just not presidential. Well, look, yes, waking up at 3 a.m. and then tweeting to attack the victim of an attempted terror attack is not presidential. It's also a lot of other horrible things. So again, this is before we caught the guy. They had just had bombs sent to their offices and he attacks them, calling them lowly rated. So thankfully, the silver lining is that thankfully nobody has died. But there is one thing I hope that will die, and that is the BS of both sides, that both parties are the same, both parties do it. There's been a million reasons to know that that is a stupid, stupid point, but I think that this is the best. Both sides do not mock concern over terror attacks. Both sides do not attack the victims of terror attacks. Both sides do not tell you, don't listen to the media when they say you should be worried about the widest scale, like attempted set of mass political assassinations in our country's history. That is a distraction from the caravan in the lead up to the midterms. Both sides do not do that. Both parties don't even typically do that. The Republicans generally don't do that. Only the Republican Party under Donald Trump does that. Only today's Republican Party under Donald Trump does that. Both sides needs to die to hopefully avoid others having to. Thank you very much for watching this clip from the Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.